Your past is not your prison, unless you keep walking back inside it. Listen carefully. Everyone has a history that haunts them. Moments of failure, shame, betrayal, or weakness. But the real test isn't whether those things happened, it's how you face them now. You can't outrun what you once were, but you can outgrow it. The problem is, the world doesn't want you to. Someone out there will always try to remind you of who you used to be, not to help you heal, but to control you. They'll dig into your past, twist your scars, and smirk as they say, remember that that's who you really are. And most people crumble in that moment. They explain, defend, justify because they still crave validation. But not you, not anymore. A Stoic doesn't bow to old ghosts. A Stoic faces them with calm eyes and says, yes, that was me, and I've evolved. When someone throws your past in your face, remember, what they're really revealing is their own weakness. They need to see you small, ashamed, reactive, because it reassures them that they're not falling behind. The ego thrives on comparison, but you're not here to argue with the past. You're here to master it. Every time you explain yourself to someone who doesn't deserve your explanation, you lose power. You hand them your peace. You feed their control. A Stoic doesn't explain. He acknowledges. When they say, you failed, you reply, yes, and I learned. That's it. No story, no justification, just calm truth, because truth doesn't need decoration. And that single act, owning what others use to shame you, strips them of their weapon. It's not denial that makes you free, it's acceptance. Seneca taught that the wise man stands before his faults and says, yes, I did that. That's how you reclaim the narrative. You don't run from your past, you redefine it. Acceptance doesn't mean weakness, it means mastery. When you can say, yes, that happened, with steady eyes, you're no longer chained to who you were. You're acknowledging the battlefield that forged you. Every scar on your timeline is evidence that you survived what tried to destroy you. When someone reminds you of that failure, that heartbreak, that humiliation, they're trying to reopen a wound. Don't let them stand still. Breathe. Let them see that the wound has become armor. You don't need to prove your growth through words. Your peace is proof enough. In Stoicism, peace is not found in comfort. It's found in command. Command over emotion. Command over reaction. Command over your own story. Remember this. The person who controls your reaction controls you. So, when they try to provoke you, give them nothing but stillness. That silence will echo louder than any defense you could ever make. Calmness is not passivity. It's power under control. Most people panic when their past is exposed, because they're still trying to escape the judgment of others. But a Stoic no longer plays that game. You don't live to convince anyone that you've changed. You live to be the change. When someone says, you used to mess up everything, you look them in the eye and respond, yes, I did. And that version of me taught me everything I know now. That's not arrogance, that's ownership. When you take full responsibility, no one can blackmail you with your history. They can only watch, confused, as the target they aim for refuses to flinch. The man who accepts his past becomes untouchable. Because once shame dies, manipulation loses its breath. Your calmness becomes their discomfort. Your self-control becomes their mirror. And suddenly, they can't handle the reflection you hold up to them. Here's the truth. People who weaponize your past do it because they can't face their own. They need to project. They need someone else's story to distract them from their own failures. So, when they reach back into your history, don't react with anger. Respond with awareness. Ask yourself quietly, why now? That single question shifts the entire power dynamic. You go from being attacked to being in command. If you calmly ask, why are you bringing this up now? Their confidence cracks. They expected you to justify yourself, not question their motive. That's the Stoic advantage, turning judgment into reflection. Because in that moment, you've forced them to look in the mirror. You've revealed the truth. Only the insecure dig up old versions of others. The strong confront the present. Remember this, the one trying to reopen your past is usually hiding from their own unfinished chapter. Epictetus said, the one who harms others is the one already in pain. Let that sink in. When someone tries to shame you, it's not about you, it's about their inability to deal with their own emptiness. That's why your peace disturbs them. Your growth exposes their stagnation. Your silence exposes their noise. When you no longer react, they lose their favorite weapon. Your emotion. That's why calmness is the ultimate rebellion. In a world that feeds on reaction, being unshaken is an act of war. So, the next time someone says, "You think you're better now," just smile. You don't owe them a debate. You owe yourself composure. They can't fight what doesn't fight back. Let your restraint confuse them. Let your silence suffocate their ego. Because when the storm outside meets the stillness within, the storm always loses. Most people mistake silence for weakness, but the Stoic knows it's the mark of dominance. The louder someone tries to provoke you, the more desperate they are for control. Let them shout. Let them dig. Let them twist. You just stand there in your truth. Every second you stay calm, you're taking their power and turning it into yours. Seneca warned, "The one who angers you conquers you." Never let anger write your script. The world is filled with people who talk too much, prove too much, and think too little. Be the exception. Speak less. Move with purpose. And let your energy say what words can't. Because real control isn't about silencing others. It's about silencing the chaos within yourself. When you can hold peace while being provoked, you've already won. That's how the Stoic conquers. Quietly. Consistently. Completely. You will notice something powerful once you master your silence. People start fearing your calm. They won't understand how you can stay unbothered when they throw chaos your way. They'll say, "You never react," and they'll mean it as an accusation. But that's their projection. What they call coldness is really control. You don't react because you've learned that peace is worth more than ego. You don't argue because truth doesn't need noise. You don't explain because growth doesn't beg to be recognized. A Stoic's goal isn't to win arguments, it's to win inner freedom. And inner freedom begins where emotional reactivity ends. The next time someone tries to pull you back into your old identity, don't defend it. Just smile and say, "That chapter made me who I am." Then walk away. Calm, grounded, untouchable. That's how you teach without preaching, through composure, not conversation. There's a dangerous myth in this world that you owe people explanations for your evolution. You don't. Growth is personal, not performative. You don't need to convince anyone that you've changed. You don't need to broadcast your transformation for it to be real. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That's it. Let your actions, not your apologies, speak for you. When someone questions your progress, let them talk. Every second they spend doubting, you spend building. Every insult they throw is proof they're still watching while you're moving forward. The man who walks in silence leaves noise behind. Don't explain your change. Embody it. People remember who you were, not who you're becoming, and that's fine. Your evolution isn't for their comfort. It's for your freedom. Understand this. Your past is not a curse. It's your curriculum. Every failure was a lesson disguised as punishment. Every heartbreak, every loss, every humiliation, training. You were being shaped, not shattered. The Stoics knew that the world doesn't hand you wisdom. It tests you into it. You can't preach strength if you've never been broken. You can't speak peace if you've never known chaos. So, when someone mocks your past, they're mocking your foundation. Let them, while they gossip about who you were, you're busy mastering who you're becoming. The cracks they laugh at are the same cracks where your light escapes. Scars are not reminders of pain. They're records of survival. Every time someone tries to reopen them, let them see that the wound healed into wisdom. You didn't escape your past. You conquered it. Here's the secret. Transformation terrifies people. Your growth reminds them of everything they've avoided facing. That's why they try to drag you back into your old version, to feel safe again. Because if you've changed, it means they could too. And that truth is unbearable for the complacent. They'll say, "You've changed," like it's an accusation. You'll say, "I was supposed to." Change is the point. You can't evolve and stay liked by everyone who knew your old self. Some people only loved you when you were small, predictable, and broken. Let them miss that version. You're not going back. The Stoic path demands solitude. Not because you hate people, but because you've outgrown the noise. You've chosen peace over approval, growth over validation. And once you taste that peace, chaos loses all appeal. True strength isn't in never falling. It's in never hiding from the fall. You've made mistakes. Everyone has. But the Stoic understands what matters is what you do with them. Weak people deny, excuse, or blame. The strong reflect, learn, and rebuild. When someone brings up your worst moments, let them. It only proves you've lived. The man who's never stumbled has never tested his limits. The woman who's never failed has never risked becoming great. You've earned your scars. You've bled for your lessons. So, when they remind you of your past, smile and think, "Thank you for reminding me how far I've come." The Stoic doesn't erase his errors. He integrates them. He turns regret into awareness, guilt into growth, pain into power. And that's how you rise, not spotless, but unstoppable. There will come a moment when someone tries to test your peace, bringing up your old failures, questioning your worth, trying to pull you into an argument. That's your cue, not your downfall. You don't fight. You don't explain. You simply ask, "Why are you bringing this up now?" Say it slowly, calmly, like a mirror reflecting their intention. That question pierces deeper than anger ever could. It forces them to confront their motives, their envy, their hidden bitterness. Because only the wounded try to reopen someone else's scars. Remember, a Stoic doesn't play emotional games. You never fight on their level. You rise above it. You win without noise. When they see you calm, their chaos collapses. When they see you unmoved, their power dissolves. You don't defeat them by striking back. You defeat them by standing tall, untouched, in complete control of yourself. This is the essence of Stoic mastery: self-control over reaction, peace over pride. In a world obsessed with shouting, you lead by silence. While others chase validation, you chase virtue. When they provoke, you observe. When they insult, you stay composed. That's not weakness, it's command. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When another blames you or hates you, their actions are their problem. Yours is to remain kind and free of disturbance." Understand this. You are no longer the person they remember. You've upgraded, you've endured storms that refined your character, not destroyed it. You've learned to value stillness more than approval, discipline more than comfort, and truth more than image. You're not here to win arguments, you're here to win yourself. The Stoics' revenge is evolution. Quiet, consistent, undeniable evolution. So here's how you end the story, with calm power. People will try to drag you back into who you were. Not because you're weak, but because your strength exposes their stagnation, your peace threatens their noise. Your discipline reminds them of their excuses. Let them talk. Let them twist your past. You've already made peace with it. That's your shield. Remember 3 truths. First, own your past without shame. It made you sharp. Second, turn every mistake into mastery. Use it as fuel, not as a chain. And third, never react, observe, question, and stay still. Those who truly know you won't need your defense. Those who refuse to see you won't believe your explanation anyway. So, when someone brings up your past, smile. Not with arrogance, but with peace, because you know what? They don't. You're not defined by what happened. You're defined by how you rose after it. That's real freedom. That's Stoic power. Now it's your turn. Stop letting your past own your future. Stop explaining. Stop apologizing. And start transforming. The moment you take full responsibility for who you've become, you take back your power. No more hiding behind old stories. No more letting others define your worth. You are not your mistakes. You are the lessons they left behind. So today, you can make a decision. Become the calm within the chaos. Master your emotions. Build the discipline to rise above every trigger. Because the world doesn't need another person who reacts. It needs someone who leads themselves first. If this message spoke to you, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Share what part hit you hardest. Let's build a community of warriors who refuse to be ruled by their past. Thanks for listening. This is Stoic Psychology. Stay grounded, stay unshakable. And remember, your peace is your power.